And welcome back to another episode of the Day After Podcast.
Oh, sorry. Just thought I would be whispering, doing some strategy
Whisper,
while
yeah,
everything's
because
going,
there's
while the intro was going on.
there's a lot of whispering that happens in
I
this
just
episode.
imagine, yeah, in because I know that they film, Tribal Council much longer than it actually is. I wonder how much how much of that actual whispering went on um, during tribal council, or was Jeff was like, all right, no one wants to talk to me. Let's just get right to it.
Yeah.
um,
Well, what's interesting about the whispering is I think it was really just Adam and Nick a little bit. Nick was a little worried that they were the ones really whispering, and then everyone else was kind of like trying just to keep cool and make everyone else cool.
I mean, I kind of noticed that like everyone that was sitting in the middle, like Sarah, Sophie, like people were coming up to Jeremy, Ben, like all these people were whispering. Well, I mean, Ben once Adam and Ben kind of like had that like crazy like little argument.
Yeah, by the
They
way,
kind
they
of
had the best chemistry on the season. Like they were just great because they never got along. They never saw eye to eye.
and gosh, like going into like this episode, like we saw Adam was like looking a little nervous, looking a little squeamish in the preview, but like after like later on the episode, seeing all this, I'm like, I don't I don't blame him. Like Rick, like
Yeah.
everyone was talking, everyone changing targets. It was like so bizarre. Like when we were going up to there, I thought it was going to be like a Ryan Johnson level of subdue expectations. It's actually Jeremy or
Yeah.
something like that.
I thought going into Tribal it was Nick. I thought Nick was going to be the one to go home. And no.
I think I think because like whenever someone talks about blowing up their game, it puts a big target on their backs, and it doesn't always pan out. I
Mhm,
would say more recently than others, I see the people that try and blow up their game are more of a red herring of the episode.
mhm.
Um, Kind of like with Nick, kind of
Yeah.
like Nora, just every single tribal council. Like,
I just so I kind of thought Adam was almost going to be viewed as like a goat of the season, like someone that they feel like they could bring to the end and beat because he played so like he played so
it's
many
not.
sides that just like and he got called out for it on many occasions. Um
Well, I mean, the thing about a wild card is it's a wild card.
yeah,
Nothing is guaranteed. A
yeah,
flop will flop until
yeah.
the bitter end.
I do think we have to say though, Adam never gave up no matter what. He fought as hard as he could. I know, oh, why would there have been an idol at Tribal? But in
I
Australian
don't think
Survivor, that has happened. And he's a super fan, so if he's seen Australian Survivor, he has seen that they've hidden things at Tribal. So it's very
I mean,
possible that they could have done it in an all-winner season because all winners would expect something like that.
exactly. And I feel that because when they discussed it earlier in the episode, it wasn't necessarily too far of a stretch either, because one, it was like a bright red color.
Mhm,
Two, it was a fleur de lis, just like the other individual immunity or the hidden immunity aisles, that being like the biggest indicator of it.
mhm.
Um, and it's something where it's just crazy enough to actually be a thing.
Yeah, and like,
So
how
I
great
don't
would it have been if he actually picked it up, gave it to Jeff, and it was like, how great would that be? Adam would be the player of the
uh,
season. He would literally have been the player of the season.
he would have gone
He would have gone home next week, like next.
he would have gone down in history. I don't care if he went home next in this alternate dimension where it did happen.
Yeah,
He not only won MVP of this episode, he probably would have won MVP of the next episode if he totally destroyed his game. It's just like he would have gone down in
yeah,
Survivor history.
yeah, and yeah.
Um,
That because like it would have been it would have been like well, what played out was like the Dean level of using the fake legacy advantage of the fake legacy advantage. That it was like that kind of thing where it's like we know it's wrong, but if it was right, it would have been a great move.
I mean, if it was wrong or not. I thought like,
And you could tell
when
in
he
Jeff's eyes, Jeff was just like, okay, this is someone who's playing the game.
yeah, I think
uh,
definitely we might see this in future seasons where
yeah.
they're like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's actually do that.
Hmm.
Um, because Survivor is always looking for new ways to shake up the game, make
Hmm.
you play harder, and like I remember in Second Chance where they hid idols during challenges, and I'm like, what the hell? Uh,
Hmm.
it's been totally crazy to just see it like right there in front of everyone. And Jeff, he played it so well. He was like, oh, but is it? I don't know.
You want
Didn't
to
go
play this thing right here that you can't get out.
he he didn't even say it wasn't until the very, very end. Like kudos to him for a host and building suspense because that was something where it was like I was on the like edge of my well, actually I was watching it in the kitchen. I was at the edge, of my chair, just like wondering, like, is this real? I was like in and everything, and then when it was, I was like, oh
I
god.
was so upset
But
because I like Adam. I think Adam is a great player because he is a human player. He is someone who makes mistakes, acknowledges his mistakes, but he keeps trying. He perseveres.
you got to keep trying this game.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way he's tried has not been. I don't feel like this was his season
No.
in the sense
I,
where,
I, I don't
granted,
think he's not at the level of playing with all winners. He's at the like if they brought him back to a returning season that was just normal players, like I think he would have done better. But he was trying to do a lot of stuff with people who know the game on a different level than uh someone who kind of just does good and is a fan favorite.
yeah, yeah. But like Adam, like I said, I liked him in Millennials versus Gen X. I feel that yeah, his back was against the wall, but it's kind of like what you're saying. That was, in a season where everyone was a new player, everyone's kind of figuring it out. In this season, where granted all the legends except maybe Tyson, could Tyson earn that title? We'll have
Maybe
to
I
see.
thought I thought Tyson was going home at one point in this episode.
Everyone was going Tyson, Tyson, Tyson. I'm like,
Yeah, because we got the confessional about Tyson wanting to create chaos so that way it wasn't him, and then the chaos suddenly started to turn over to Tyson. I was like, wait, what?
I mean, in his defense, I was thinking whether or not that was a good strategy in the sense if not everyone is talking to each other, maybe, but because everyone is talking about everyone, it doesn't take too long to like connect dots. I think one of his saving graces was Tony, who wants to go after the hyenas,
Mhm.
um, which I think, yeah, they got a hyena this episode. Um, and not only that, it's just like you can't trust Adam. He's too
Mhm.
much of a wild card.
Yeah.
I would say Tyson, he's a little bit of a wild card, but I mean, kind of like what he said, he's usually been pretty straightforward in his gameplay in past seasons. And, like, yeah, sometimes he'll do like something a little trolly or like a little like goofy and stuff, but that's just like, more of a personality thing as opposed to like gameplay. But he kind of uses that in his gameplay in the sense of like, oh, I'm not really a threat. I'm just a
Yeah.
goofball just doing my
Yeah.
thing.
Also, Tyson has created a legacy of on Survivor now. The Tyson peanut butter on Edge of Extinction.
Yeah, I down where it was something where like speaking of edge extinction when they were going like looking for the clue looking for the advantage and stuff, and then they were talking about peanut butter. It's just like peanut butter is the key. Peanut butter is
Yeah.
the key out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And we gotta get into this because this is a very controversial decision, in my opinion, is Michelle buying that 50/50 token for 4 fire tokens. That's all for fire
Which,
tokens.
yeah, first of all, dick move, Parvati.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be someone that was your ally that you gave these fire tokens to, and now you're
Yeah.
gonna make her spend all of it.
Yeah, like max 2. Max is 2, right?
Max two, not even a guaranteed idol.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
they could fail. It has a 50% chance of failing.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't one or two, yes, but
That's just
four fire was
that
way
that
too
that's
much.
almost shooting Michelle in the foot.
Yep.
Because now if this doesn't work, and she's on the bottom again, she has no fire tokens now to buy another advantage to get out.
I mean,
And
honestly,
so now she kind of has to hope that her social game is good enough that someone will give her fire tokens again. And at this stage of the game, because she's not winning challenges, she's not. Odds are she's not winning a challenge.
as far as we see, yeah, she's.
Yeah,
But
she's been usually the one of the first ones out.
yeah, I mean, granted, last in Ko Wrong, she did kind of like start winning challenges near the end when she had to,
Yeah,
kind of like build a little bit of a resume and things like that.
yeah. In fact, that's probably the only reason she really won was that she won that last challenge.
That did help her out a bunch.
Yeah,
But it was also a thing of like, honestly, I know it's early in the episode, our episode, but I'm giving her the least valuable player. Just
yeah,
one for that, and two, her still being hung up on Wendell. It's just like she even said, I wanted him to be one of the first people out, but now he's gone, and I'm like, you're
yeah,
more you're more of a you're more of a three-dimensional person. You
yeah.
don't have.
Yeah, I have to agree, Michelle. This was just not a good episode for her. I don't think that this is an episode that makes her no longer a winner candidate, but this definitely is just like not good play. The only other person
Yeah,
that I could think could potentially be a more of a viable candidate for least valuable player is Sarah, because and it was such a it's a human move. I get it. It's a very human move, but she came into the season as a big target. With her social play, made her no longer a target, just to then make herself a target again. Because now people are going to talk about her again. They're going to say, "Hey, you saw that move that she did with Nick? If Nick goes to Edge of Extinction, he's going to tell everyone about that."
yeah, I do feel that was a. I get it. Sometimes emotions, you get caught up in it, but emotions, when it comes to a cutthroat game like
Yeah,
this or Pokemon Go
yeah,
PvP, you got to take emotion out of it.
yeah,
Yeah, it might seem nice to do this. Yeah, it might be fun to play this way, but are you gonna go against what's happened in the past where a lot of people that give up rewards and stuff, it puts a target in the back.
yeah,
Rick and Jeremy even said, that's what burned him his
yeah,
season, his
yeah.
original season.
Yeah, that's true. Like it's a move that you should never take. Like because it's an unnecessary like move. It's not needed. Like if no one did anything, no one would bat an eye. But this is something that's being done. Everyone notices. Like it's not like a stealthy
Yeah,
getting to know this person while no one else knows. This is like in front of everyone saying, "Hey, I want this person's jury vote."
yeah. And not only that, that person was also on the bottom too, which even makes
Yeah.
it more obvious.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
and it's
like everyone knows that people want him as one of the next few people gone. So like why? Like
I don't know.
if this was like Tony, if Tony's birthday was out there, I think everyone
I
would get
get
it. Everyone would get it. Even like Tyson or something like that. Like just been no connection between Sarah and Nick that just
yeah.
it's like very it just became obvious. And I think that it Sarah genuinely did it as a nice person move. Like I don't think this was a
Yeah.
move. I think she was genuinely being a nice person, a human person. But that doesn't matter because everyone else is going to look at it as a strategic move.
Yeah. I'm just part of me was wondering too. It's just like, damn it, I lost the thought. Rain distracted me.
Uh,
It's like drizzling.
oh, I loved
And
how Tony handled this.
Tony did talk about the gameplay and stuff,
Uh,
afterwards. But like they always had like a well, I mean, in the beginning, like they were aligned, but then, obviously Tony blindsided her and, first BBB. And then like they built a bond since then. Cops are us forever. Um, but I feel, you know, Sarah, she has a really great social game. I mean, she's good with Sophie, because of the whole, like being the only two on, not the only.
yeah, and voting on Boston Rob. And Ben is in there too. You gotta remember Ben is like tight with Sarah.
Yeah. So I mean, like she playing a really, really good game. She's aligned with people. She's smart. That's part of the reason she was so well adapted to win game changers was because she was able to assess things.
Mhm.
Um, I just I feel like if she went home because of it, kind of a similar thing to like Sandra, where it's kind of like when you where it's something that you make a decision that is known for being a little risky or goes against your normal gameplay. If that were the case, maybe I would give it to her if she went home as a result. But no,
Mhm.
I feel losing 4 fire tokens, 4 chances, or like 3 other chances to like buy something that could be worth your while,
Mhm.
and spending it all on something that's not guaranteed. I get it. Sometimes signs point to you doing different things. Am I someone that follows that philosophy sometimes? Absolutely, yes. Um, does it always pay off? No, because sometimes my head is looking for a sign.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, maybe that's a sign, or wait, this. Sometimes your brain plays tricks on you, so it's not always the most reliable thing to do. It,
Yeah.
you
I was thinking that the fortune cookies, if you connected all of them together, it would be a clue to an idol.
it's chapter 2. That'd be
Yeah.
funny.
And that like I thought that was gonna happen, and then it didn't. And I was kind of disappointed. I would have been like, that would have
Yeah,
been great. Like Survivor needs to do that the next time they do Chinese takeouts.
yeah, that would have been a clever thing to do. But I feel like this season is much more. You're kind of like on your own. You're at your own devices when it comes to like finding things or using, or like whether it's finding things or when it comes to like your social game and stuff with the fire tokens.
Mhm.
It definitely feels like this season there are no free lunches, unless obviously you win a reward challenge, which also this was the first like pure reward challenge of the season.
Yeah, there's been other ones, but they've never made it to air. That they always just happen, but they didn't have enough time in the episodes. Um,
Which is
yeah, happens, I guess, a lot actually on Survivor is challenges that they do, but just get cut.
hmm,
Um, what?
that's because that's kind of like weird. I get it if there's like I get
Because rewards, like honestly, it's dead air most of the time. Like it's just seeing them doing challenges. There's not really a progression in story, except for this one, because there was. So
well, I
that's why
mean,
they included it.
usually, you know, like sometimes reward things can bite you in the butt, or like sometimes it's something where, oh, you
Yeah.
get an option maybe, and you know, it's like more, you know, on the reward, tribal interactions, things
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
this is the
Um,
first individual reward challenge where it's at the merge. All the reward challenges this season have been as a tribe.
yeah. Um,
Because like there's one for pizza, I believe. I saw something about that. There's a pizza reward challenge. Um, yeah.
which is like, because this isn't the first time they've done a season where, you know, like they have like a Redemption Island, Exile Island, or in this case, Edge of Extinction, where, you know, that's going to take up a bit of the episode. And then, you know, like it's going to be that Tribe Life immunity challenge, you know, like the discussion before that, and then the challenge. Like,
Mhm.
and this being their 40th episode, yeah, 40th episode, 40th season too.
Imagine that Survivor's on its 40th episodes. It's still got a long way to go.
It's one episode a season,
Yeah.
you know, but it's like you would think, just in the sense of like money wise, like, you know, for the show itself, like, you know, like money wise, you know, to have all these challenges and not have it air is kind of a little bit of a waste of resources in a
Well,
way.
so it's actually smart because what they're doing is they have them and then they can throw them in there if, for instance, the tribes or there's not enough in like stuff that they can use elsewhere. They can throw in that reward challenge, make it however long or short they want it to be. Uh, and all of a sudden that like 5 minutes that you were kind of like struggling to get with is now filled because you have that reward challenge. And
Maybe.
at the worst, like what I mean, the you still have to do the reward challenges because you want to make sure that people are eating still. Like that's their sense of being able to be like, okay, let's get some people some food, have them really
Fair,
work for it.
fair enough. Maybe in the fact,
Yeah.
like, because this one kind of impacted the game a little bit in the sense of like Sarah gave up a reward.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, yeah, they
so,
never show
like,
it when it's just like a tribe wins and then that's it. And then they eat and they have a good time. They only show it when something important to the episode happens.
uh, like, because I don't necessarily, because
Because remember
I,
that this happened in Island of the Idols too. Because remember when Jason got voted out, we were like waiting for Nora's reaction to Jason,
yeah,
and they never said. And the last one voted out Jason, and then we never saw Nora's reaction from it, which was a little upsetting.
a little bit, yeah. Um, I guess in the sense of like because so much goes on, um, I don't know, maybe if CBS would do a thing like on their YouTube page, put on the
The
reward
reward,
challenges, an extra thing for, you know,
yeah,
fans.
just make it a secret scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But I don't know, like because I mean, like I enjoy watching reward challenges, or you know, because sometimes it's like, oh man, they're having this. Why are they eating better than me? And I'm actually in civilization.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, stuff like this makes me want to go order Chinese takeout.
yeah, like gosh, that would have been even more funny if it was kind of like the It Chapter 2 thing with the fortune cookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like reward challenges. I was a little like upset almost. Not I upset's not the right word. Agitated maybe that they were doing a reward challenge because then we I was also like, well, we just did Edge of Extinction. We still have the immunity challenge. When are we going
feel
to get to when are we going to do
I feel
Tribe
like it
Life?
was a little surprise. Yeah. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say it like annoyed me or anything. It was more like a surprise, like, oh shit. For a second I thought we were having a double elimination episode.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. No, I was only fine with it just because we got something out of it at the ends. The fact that there was something that's going to impact the rest of the episode. So I was like, okay, makes sense why they included it now. but in the process of it, I was kind of just like, oh, come on, move on, hurry up already.
Uh, like like I said, it was it was a I don't know, when it does come to like reward challenges in general, I like watching it because it is like, like see how it impacts the game or like see them needs. Or like, like get to celebrate things or like it's funny or like if it's something as simple as a shower, they haven't
Hmm.
seen a shower in like, like 23 days and it's like,
Hmm.
oh shit, my God. Or do you remember that one season where Philip went in the pool and he didn't shower off beforehand, and you just see all the dirt very
Turrets.
visibly just
Oh,
like go around the pool. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because, like, once you live like that for a few days, you just kind of go, like, I guess this is my new life.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like in the sense of like if sometimes you don't notice how you smell because you're so used to it. Like,
Yeah.
let's say you leave for a month and then you come back into your room and then you smell your room and it's like, oh, this smell weird.
Hmm.
Um, because you're
Yeah.
so used to you become nose blind.
Yeah.
Um, all any
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we've already covered Sarah giving up her reward to Nick. We agreed not the best thing that could happen in that situation. And as we said, this is going to be something that probably will bite her on the butt a few episodes in the future. But
maybe
because
maybe
she did get a vote today, or
I
this
mean
week. Also, do you know who didn't vote for Adam?
no.
So obviously Adam didn't vote for himself. He voted for Nick. Um, or no, he voted for Sarah. He voted
Yeah.
for Sarah, and then Denise and Sarah voted for Nick.
Hmm. Well, wow. After all that, it's well. I mean, I think it makes sense that Adam gave his fire token to Denise in a
Denise.
sense because like they did kind of have like a little bit of bond in the beginning, and plus with everything going around and stuff, um, I'm surprised we didn't see four names or like five names, something
Yeah,
like.
yeah. And honestly, I think that this was all the plan was how the votes turned out actually. Because you got the majority on Adam, you got two votes on Nick just in case Adam plays an idol. So it
Yeah.
doesn't even matter what Adam does. Because by the end of that tribal council, it looked like it was Adam. Like it was very much like everyone had that tone like let's just move on. Let's hurry up. Nick was comfortable, which means that is probably Adam.
He said it himself too, and it's like, now I get it, but like sometimes you just don't know what's true out there. You
Yeah,
never know,
yeah.
especially since Nick was on the bottom too. I guess also Nick, he hasn't always been portrayed as the brightest person out there in this
Which is
season.
crazy because he's a lawyer.
We all know about a certain lawyer last season.
Yeah, and she did great.
She made it far, yes.
Yeah, she played an idol that negated a shit ton of votes.
Okay.
It's a great move. It was a great move.
Broken clock. It's read twice a day.
No. Uh,
Well, I mean, if
it,
it's like too fast or too slow, then obviously it's never right. But you know what I mean.
I'm
We're
just
talking
saying.
like
I'm just
old
saying.
grandpa
You can be
clock.
as mad as you want, but Karishma was the MVP of last season.
Oh, Janet,
She crushed it.
Janet.
Nope. I say yes if your Janet turned to a Karishma.
No. Moving on. Uh, so the immunity challenge. Can I just say, I've always pictured myself doing this. and then pretending. I was like, I wonder if anyone has ever fallen and busted their, you know, nuts, just like trying to stay
Yeah.
on gym. I thought it was almost going to happen to a couple people.
I think Tony, it happened to Tony, like, no, not busted his nuts, but I think he slipped and caught himself right there.
I've, or at least it looked like on his bottom, but it wasn't like
Yeah, well, no, not this episode, but when he did it back in Cagayan, I think that's what happens.
I
Because
mean,
I remember someone that happening, or where they're on, I think, like the second highest one, and they just kind of slip, and yeah.
I will say my favorite parts of this episode was Jeremy's um, strategy of staying on and Ben's strategy of staying on. Because they
Hmm.
were just very sharp motions, all ridiculous. And then Jeremy's Jeremy's dismount was
Oh,
pretty funny.
it was so good. He tried so hard, but like this was not Jeremy's challenge. This is not the kind of stuff that Jeremy is going to succeed in.
He's I definitely think. Well, I mean, it's always tricky because with the water balancing one or like this one, it's usually the people that have better balance in general,
Mm.
and usually the bigger, bulkier guys, like it's very, very tough for them to like stay atop because they're
Yeah,
very top heavy,
yeah.
and the key to any balancing thing is a lower center of gravity.
Hmm.
That's why you see people crouch and stuff on the podium. Is because like lower center of gravity, more likely to topple over. So that's why like Jeremy, who pretty top heavy, he has muscles, um, struggling so hard.
Hmm. Yeah. So everyone falls off eventually, and we're left with Kim Spradlin as our immunity challenge winner. What do you think about that?
I'm like, good job, Kim.
That's about all we can say about it because we have not really seen much
Kim
of
has not.
Kim.
Well, I mean, she didn't really get
She's getting the purple edit of the season. She is getting the she's just kind of there.
a little bit. I mean, granted, she was on the bottom of the original Red Tribe and everything. And when she did go to tribal, or like for when Sandra got voted off, and she was kind of like the swing vote. She got some, but yeah, she hasn't really been as vocal
Yeah.
this season as others. Also,
Which will be upsetting if she ends up being the winner of the season because it's like we didn't see her till like almost near the end of the season.
I mean, sleeper threats.
And it's not
Now,
even a sleeper threat. She's just she's just there.
deep sleep, sleeping beauty.
I'm so far, I gotta say, a little disappointed in the merge based off these two episodes.
What?
Yeah. And I'm saying disappointed in terms of I expected it to be very different, and I got something not what I was wanting.
I don't know. I
All
felt.
the plans that have come through so far, both of the plans have been very much like this is the plan going into it. This is what's going to happen. This is the safe move. I view both moves that have happened as safe moves.
The fact that you say you were disappointed in this merge after we got one of the most chaotic pre-tribal councils and tribal councils,
But the thing was, it was fake chaos. Ultimately, it was fake
big
chaos.
chaos. They were legit wondering if it was so easy just to get rid of Adam, they would have just been like,
No. If you go back and re-watch it, what you see is you have Adam trying to start all of that, and then Nick realizing that he was supposed to be one of the votes, freaking out, and then you got Jeremy, Tony, and basically everyone in the middle just kind of being like, guys, we're good. It's Adam,"
and
and then that's what happens. Like it was like there was fun moments, but I was wanting more strategic elements of just chaotic gameplay, and we're not really getting that. We're getting a lot of safe play.
The two people that have gone home, were they safe votes? Maybe, but sometimes it's the how of how like they went off. The whole fact that Adam, even if it didn't work, the whole podium thing was crazy and stuff, and we're like rooting. Like even if love Adam, hate Adam, we kind of want to see him succeed in something so like crazy and bizarre.
Yeah.
It
No, I'm not saying anything against Adam. I'm not saying it's anyone against this cast. I'm saying solely based on how they're approaching tribal councils. That we're not getting what I think a lot of people wanted out of this kind of crazy season of having all these winners is having everyone with their agendas and not wanting to budge on their agendas. Right now we're having a lot of people being like, "Oh, you're not aligned with this person. I guess we can vote this person. Let's get someone else that's not aligned with that person." And then they just vote that person out.
I don't know, man. I just
It seems like based on editing and everything, they're trying to make it seem more chaotic than it ends up actually being.
sometimes I just like the ride, man. Or the ride and how the story was told and how the chaos ensued. Yeah, someone that would, yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, Adam, who was on the bottom, went home. But just the way and the chaos, and then the possible, idol being at a tribal council, and like, Jeff playing it so much in the sense of like, could it be the very last syllable? Like I came out, I was like, wow, that was so crazy and awesome. Even though, yeah, someone, well, I mean, if you strip away the pizzazz of anything sounds lame. Uh, Endgame. Oh, they killed off the villain. Oh, they want to bring everyone back.
Yeah, but think
They
of
did
okay, here, I'll go
that.
to the Sarah boot in Cagayan. How great was it when Sarah, the swing vote, who gets to decide what group basically progresses through the game, gets voted out because of a mutual decision by then everyone else that hey, we don't need the swing vote. Like that is at least interesting. Like at least that's an interesting coming together, voting out the person who thinks that they have power. But instead we're voting out the people that know they don't have power because that's just the move. And like honestly, if I was out there on Survivor and I wanted to win, these are the moves I'd be making. I would be trying to do stuff like this that would be I know I'm moving forward and I don't necessarily need this person in my game. It's the safe move and that's how a lot of winners win is they do these kind of moves and don't necessarily go all in because if you go all in then you're kind of left
Now's
screwed.
not to do that though.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying is that
And,
in
and isn't the person you're rooting for, Tony, even saying that he's going after the hyenas, not the best players right
yeah, because that's
now?
good for Tony's game, but that's not necessarily good for everyone else's game. There's only like a handful of people that honestly would be good with this. So why aren't those other people wanting to step up and take out Tony? Like, why is Tony not brought up yet? How has he made it through this many episodes and not been brought up? Even the episode when Sandra went home and he was out doing his Spy Shack stuff, no one brought his name up. They were just like, huh, crazy Tony.
I guess because like his social game is very different than the two times he's played in the past, where it's not necessarily like because in BBB he very much was portrayed as the villain of that season,
Mhm.
like the better Russell Hands, in the sense of like like I wouldn't say crazy play gameplay, but more like out of the box
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah.
as
He was
well
the
as
he was
like
the bald guy that could find idols without clues.
what.
He was the bald guy that could find idols without clues.
Not only that, but like he kind of like, but like Tony in his original season, like not only that, but like, the Spy Shack and stuff like that, and thinking of like different ways of like how to get information, thinking of different ways to like, figure or kind of like not necessarily break the rules, but like use the rules in a different way, or like use the meta and kind of like make different decisions. Also, the whole like he also did a idol and intimidation move where he
Hmm.
even read it was like, yeah, this is a super idol. It has no power after this certain day, and
Okay.
so like
So would you say right now, if the season ended and for if let's say it's going at the same level it is right now, would you say that this is a top five season out of all of Survivor? Do you think this is a top five season?
potentially yes. It just needs to, because you got to understand too. All right, so one of your complaints with game changers, right? A lot of the big fishes went home early.
Mm-hmm. Which happened in this season.
Not all the big fish, though.
Most of them, yeah. I mean, Game Changer still had Suri that made it through.
We have Tony. We have Jeremy. We have Tyson. We still have Sarah. We still have a
Well, to
lot
be
of.
fair, also in Game Changers just in general, there are only a few big players. This season has way more big players than it does. Like just that naturally, even if the big players were still taken out, there would still be a few big players left, even if it was down the line.
I feel like this is just the damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario with you.
No, no, no. I'm not.
I feel
I'm upset on how they're coming to it. I'm upset that that they're kind of thinking it in a very narrow-minded way, and it's like right now I wouldn't consider this a top five season. Like I wouldn't. I would say maybe eight. Like right now I'd probably put it at like eight.
eight is good. Eight is
Like
good,
and
but
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying this is a bad season. I'm saying that it is a good season of Survivor, but it is underperforming over what I think a lot of people assumed it was going to. A lot of people thought that this was the best season ever. That coming into this is going to be better than Heroes versus Villains, better than Second Chance, better than any season of Survivor, and I don't think that's the case right now.
I feel like because eventually these characters have to go, and it doesn't necessarily like
And I'm fine with that. Like that's the point of Survivor.
it's like they get off at different ways, and I feel the fact that big players are still in the game and not being like the fighting their way and stuff like that. It's so like cool because like like at this point, Jeremy, granted he won immunity last time, Jeremy would have been one of the biggest people to go after. Someone like Ben would be one of the biggest people to go after and all that stuff. But we're seeing that, oh, they're still around. And not only that, they're kind of like running the game in their own regards. It's like, all right. So it's like, it's starting to be a thing of like, okay, we're going to see some of these people actually make it to the end, like some of the bigger names that are still remaining, instead of them all being cannibalized by the hyenas.
I just don't think that you could name another good season of Survivor that has the merge episode be a safe vote and then the next vote be a safe vote.
Well,
I don't think that there's a good season of Survivor that does that. I think at most there might be one safe vote, and then after that, there's a chaotic vote to seize power of that group of people who just made that vote. But
all
instead, we got kind of the same group of people now just choosing another person, choosing one of the people in the group. Like, okay, we don't want him in our game anymore.
all right, maybe we saw a kind of like a little appetizer of the chaos that's about to ensue. Like this was like the pre. This is like all the dogs kind of like in animals freaking out and kind of running away from home before the mass catastrophe is coming. Because the fewer smaller players that are left in the game, the crazier it's going to be. Because we're going to have big people with big strategies doing all the stuff in the last few episodes, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be mind blowing. If like, all right, so it's down to the finals like seven. Um, Jeremy is kind of like, running one alliance. Denise is kind of like a swing vote. Tyson is kind of like running another. And then, like Tony is also kind of like flip flopping around in the sense of like, oh, so like all these players are playing like a very, very, very crazy game. And it's like big people going after big people.
Yeah. So the only thing that's going to make me change on my opinion as of right now is if Tony finds an idol. Give Tony an idol. Production, come in, do what you did with Ben, and give him an idol.
Yes, earn that idol. Who knows? Someone might offer. I don't know.
No one is giving Tony anything. Sarah is the only one that would ever give Tony something in this game.
Edge of Extinct. Yeah,
So Sarah would have to go to Edge of Extinction and give him stuff, and I don't see that happening. Remember? Oh yeah, Sarah has an advantage. I guess I forgot about that too. I just remember that.
oh yeah,
Yeah, she has the steal of votes.
still does. Yeah. Um,
I believe Jeremy's safety without power
yeah,
expires at the next tribal council.
it does.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, at least as long as he doesn't pull a Sandra, he should be good.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good advantage because remember you were leaving your potential alliance alone, and that's not a good thing to do. Is because that's basically saying like, hey, I care about myself more than you.
But I mean, is there a defined alliance in this group yet?
Well, people are going to be probably relying on his votes. He's not going to just tell everyone, "Hey, guys, I'm not going to be at this tribal council."
I mean, he's also because if you notice this episode, I kind of noticed like he was kind of staying in the one spot, sitting on the bench
Mhm.
through when people were coming to talk to him.
Yeah, because
Like,
he's a center of control over everyone right now. People want to come to him, and then he just tells them, "Okay, guys, it's good, it's
you
fine."
know, people might not notice
What?
that people are coming to him.
Yeah.
Some people might start to get ballsy next episode and be like, all right, Jeremy has too much power. I mean, we don't know yet, but I
Hmm.
do feel like it is something where, like we got a little taste of chaos. Well, I wouldn't say we got more than a taste. We got like really, really good appetizers of chaos, you know, on the house. And, like now it's just going to be like really, really crazy because with more safe boats gone, and like even if Nick is a quote unquote safe boat, he's going down kicking and screaming, and it's still fun to watch. Even if you're like, why are you doing this? Why are you blowing up your game?
Yeah.
Even if
It's just
someone,
it's no fun if they know that they're going home. I never have fun when someone goes home and they're going to vote and you know that they're going home. And that was heavily the case this episode was okay, it was literally like we had to hope that that idol was real. But it was so preposterous. And it was I think it would have been edited very differently if it was real. I think we would have gotten a lot more shots of it. Um a lot more close-ups and stuff, but I feel like how they edited they were trying to say like this is a crazy idea.
I mean, it is crazy, but like sometimes, or I feel like it was crazy enough to be real, where it's like sometimes it's like, did you see Uncut Gems?
No, I haven't.
The dude's a gambling man, and sometimes some of the crap he gambles against is so crazy. He kind of he's it's so crazy and bizarre the shit he tries to do that you kind of want him to see succeed even though he's a bad person. I
Mhm.
feel like that was kind of this thing where it was like it's so like crazy that like an idol would be hidden right on Jeff's podium and everything. And there were really, really good, signs that pointed to the Fleur de Lis actually being an idol. One, it looking similar to other idols, and two, it being a red color, in the sense of like a lot of, or at least this season when it came to like idols and not one purchased by fire tokens, they were colorful in some regard, or like something like that, where it was like, oh, there was like a legit, like reasoning behind it. It's not like the whole stick thing with
Yeah.
in season 16.
16. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
where it's like it's just a stick.
yeah.
Um, there was like,
Do you think the set designers got in trouble for making something look like an idol? um
no,
just imagine that conversation. Oh, what are you doing? Why are you making this one thing look like the same thing that our idols are?
I think they got. I think they would have gotten, like a lot of praise for doing something like that.
Yeah.
Um, just in the fact of like, because it gave us such a crazy like opportunity and then kind of like a mystery if it was real or not.
Yeah.
You know,
When Jeff was saying if any of you have an idol, you can play it now. Now is the time to do so. And then I was just like, Adam, it's fake. I just knew in my heart that it was fake. Like that it's not real.
like I
And
kind of want,
then just seeing him slowly get up and slowly like kind of creep over there to it and then start working on it, I was like, oh no.
I guess I feel like it. I still feel like the whole thing, he wasn't wrong to think it at all.
Oh no, I agree. I 100% agree with that. It's just it was painful watching it not work.
I guess
It was
maybe.
cringy. It was like cringy watching him not being able to get it and then still playing it.
No, because to be fair, well, I mean, usually, because in the past, obviously, we've had idols where they're like nailed in or something, and usually they have to pry it off with like a machete.
Uh,
Um,
yeah,
it's
but that's
not
usually back at camp. That's not that.
usually, but it's a
Yeah, but
whole
the thing is that at camp you can expect to do that. You like at tribal you can't expect to just
go up to
yeah.
machete.
Yeah, you can't like you're not gonna do that. This isn't Matthew from Survivor Amazon with his big old machete.
I never know. And the fact that it did kind of made for it made for a very interesting tribal council, in my opinion, because it's like, is it real though? The like mystery of whether or not it is. Um, I don't know. Like sometimes I'm just like in it for the ride, and like whether or not it works out or not, it was just like just the way it was told. I felt was like really really good.
Hmm. Okay, well, we covered all of that. We have our stances on how the season is so far.
Yeah,
Um, who's your MVP of this season of this episode, not season, episode?
MVP. To be honest, it was hard for me to choose someone that like really really stood out.
Yeah,
I might
probably because
say
there's a lot of bad gameplay from a lot of people.
bad game. It's just with such a chaotic episode, it's hard to tell because everyone was kind of like scrambling a little bit. I'm going to, because I kind of took it away from him last episode. I'm going to give it back to Jeremy this episode
Hmm.
because, like I said, everyone was coming to him, and like he was kind of like the focal point for a lot of things. So I feel like gameplay wise and where he is in the tribe, at least right now, before people get wise, he's doing good.
Okay. Um, I'm going to give it to someone not necessarily for their gameplay this episode, but their legacy. Their legacy is going to be etched into the halls of Survivor,
Tell me.
and that is Tyson Apostle for his peanut butter.
I,
Tyson's peanut butter. Buy
I,
it now.
Tyson's peanut butter, Sandra Bench cookie, Sandra Bench biscuits. It's a British thing.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
that would specifically be for the British audience because British cookies. Um,
yeah, no, I don't have I really don't think that there is any remarkable gameplay in this episode. So
Say
so I'm going purely based off of legacy. So this is almost a move that Tyson made a while ago that's now getting full acknowledgement.
yeah. I mean, I was given it acknowledgement. Um,
Yeah.
but you know,
Gosh, peanut butter, like that was the move. Like, and I think the only reason that they're buying peanut butter is because it worked for Tyson. I feel like if he didn't come back in, they would have been like, Tyson, why did you buy peanut butter? Why didn't you buy an idol? Or an advantage?
you see that, he was still, yeah, he still was able to get an advantage.
Yeah,
It worked. And, he has a full tummy and he gets to be back in the game.
yeah, yeah. He came back full tummy and then got a merge feast, more full tummy. Uh,
Full tummies help you win Survivor.
yeah. So I feel like we've had 9 episodes now. If normal Survivor Convention applies, it should be pretty easy for us to figure out the winner of the season. So who would you think is the winner of the season right now?
All right. Given all the information that we have, if I'm going to choose my top three, one, maybe I'll go from, you want to do top three? We'll start with three and then go up.
Yeah,
Granted,
sure.
probably not truly halfway in the sense of like someone's coming back. So yeah, it's 10 right now, but we're technically gaining a person back later on. But given the people right now, for number three, I'm going to say Tyson, just because he came back. He's not, granted, his name has been thrown around, but I feel like he can, like the fact that he has came back
Yeah.
and some little editing and things like that, he could, like come back and be kind of
He's getting a somewhat winner's edit. Like if we look back on all of his content right now, you could see a winner's edit from him.
yeah. So who's your number three?
My number three. So I will say Tyson is my number four.
Yeah.
He's almost there. So my number three is Tony Vakos. I think he's doing great out there. I think he's
I
playing exactly how he should be playing on his third time out.
I I'd say I agree, but I think I agree a little bit more because he's actually my number two.
Oh, really? Wow. Crazy.
I he is playing a not only a really good game in the sense of like he seems not really to be on anyone's radar, but the
Uh-huh.
fact that he's improved so much with his gameplay, where it's just like he seems not only not painted as a villain this
Hmm.
season, but as well as like like a genuinely like fun guy to watch and like a fun guy to be around and
Hmm.
something like that can really bring you further in the game.
Yeah.
And the fact,
Well, yeah. So it seems like he has a lot of people coming to him, but he's not standing out like people are coming to him. He's just like people just want to come to him. They want to work with Tony.
yeah, I feel, and especially since he's rallying together all the big threats,
Hmm.
it's also helping his game in that
Hmm.
regard.
Yeah.
All right,
Um,
number two.
my number two, even though I just said, he hasn't been painted as the person everyone's coming to, my number two is Jeremy. I,
So
I
true.
don't I and I'm he's my number two because I think if he makes it to the end, he will beat anyone in the end. I think he has that potential right now. Unless like a Boston Rob comes in and makes it to the end. I think just in general, if someone of that legend status makes it to the end, even if they come back in through Edge of Extinction, I think it's going to be hard to beat them. But just in terms of people currently in the game, if Jeremy makes it to the end, odds are he's beating whoever he's sitting with. Now the question is how he gets there. That's the tough part. I think he's a good enough player. I think he's like if you had to build a Survivor player from the ground up, you would build a Jeremy Collins.
I mean, yeah, and he is someone where he has one or like he's a player that's played 3 times and has made it to the merge each and every time.
Mhm.
Not an easy feat,
Yeah.
especially with someone of his kind of like regard of like having a leadership role as well as, like granted he kept it hidden, but like he's just like he also has like hero status. He's a physical threat. Um, I mean, he's just a good player, and like even now when people consider him a threat, a new school threat, people are like still like willing to work with him and everything.
Mhm. Nice. Okay, who's your number one?
Now, this may seem after this episode a little bit out of, I wouldn't say out of left field. I still think she still has a lot of gameplay left to be done, but I'm thinking Sarah can still win me.
Sarah. Interesting.
I feel
I don't think she has long in this game. I think she has maybe three more tribal councils at most.
I don't know. I feel it honestly depends on how she plays because
Hmm.
I think she's smart enough to really get to the end. And the fact of like she is so tight with Tony that I feel like there is going to be like an alliance thing she is going to benefit from being aligned with Tony, and that's going to push her further. And I do feel that with her steal a vote, she has been known to play advantages at the right time, and even using advantages like with the whole Suri thing with Game Changers of like, oh, I'm going to give someone the advantage, even though I'm the one that can only use it. Something like that, like she is a very smart player. And out of everyone that's left, I think Sophie would be my number 4. I still think people are going to grow wise or her gameplay might not shine as much because I am acknowledging this season she's doing pretty good
I
in the
I
sense
think
of
she's one
like
of the best players out there right now. Like her game right now is
her.
definitely one of the
I
better
think
ones.
part of the reason why not many people were looking to her to be like such a great player was the fact that granted she was kind of like under coach's shadow and it was a vengeful jury.
Yeah, and also remember she was 22 during that season. Like she was young. She didn't really know like what she was about yet. And I guess she was very camera shy as well, and so a lot of her dry wit and humor and stuff, she just couldn't do it in front of the camera. But like her tri mates, she would do it in front of them, and they loved it. They thought she was funny, which we never saw that on South Pacific.
True.
But that's why she's my number one. Sophie Clark is Joe King's number one.
Like I said, like I recognize it. I think there because Survivor comes to a point where they're like, oh wait, because especially like the quieter players, they're like, oh shit, yeah, because people start looking at not only people's resume, but like kind of like where they are, and like they're thinking more and more about the end game as they get closer to like, especially when they get closer to like 8 and 7, they're like, all right, out of everyone's who's left, who has a compelling case or like who is someone that might slip under the radar. Um, like I said, it depends on how she plays the rest of the game,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I
Well, her
think
biggest problem is who she sits at the end. If she sits with the right people, she'll win. But if she sits next to a Jeremy or a Tony, she's not winning.
yeah, and I think that's part of the reason also I put her at like 4, um, in the sense where I think she could if she plays her cards right,
Mhm.
but it's more of a fact of like, but is she playing a better game than the other people that are still playing? And
I think
if
she's playing a better game than most people. I think she is playing. I think arguably the best game, but just because she's such a non-threat or a non-factor to a lot of the people. It's about, can she be noticeable enough in the end game to show off, hey, look at what the stuff I did. This was me that did this, not I was not being portrayed as the one that kind of just followed, which could very much happen. Like, even if like, it's very easy to be painted as the person that followed if you're not the one who's flashily doing moves.
True, but like, because she is painting herself as a little bit of a sleeper threat or hyena in the
Mm-hmm.
sense. I guess it's just it really depends on how the next few trials go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't think out of the people that are left, do you want to do three people we don't think are going to win, or
Yeah, we can if we want, because that's going to be easy. We
yeah,
don't even need to rank them. They're not winning this game.
Michelle, Nick, and I'm trying to think of someone else real
Um,
quick. All right,
Michelle, Nick, and Ben.
Ben.
Ben could win this. Okay, I've thought that he would. I
Middle.
thought he was definitely not winning this season, and this episode almost made me think he is. Like, there's a part of me that almost kind of is like, is Ben secretly like winning this season?
And I know. All right, I'm going to say this, and this is, I know I predicted her to win this, but I think Kim hasn't really
Yeah.
wowed us with any
Yeah. Oh yeah.
gameplay, really.
Kim's not winning this. I forgot about her because I haven't seen her on screen that much.
I know I wrote this down, but I find it interesting that the buff this season matches her blouse.
Hmm.
I guess that's what my mind went to
Good
this
job.
episode, where I just kind of noticed, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Could it be foreshadowing? We don't know. Um,
Yeah, that is some crazy foreshadowing. They knew before the game even
they were
started.
like, because they wardrobe before they
Yeah,
go,
yeah.
or they have this. They do approve of wardrobe, and it's like, oh, this is a really good design. Let's make the merge buff based off of this.
Uh, I thought Kim was going to do a lot better. I will say, I thought she was going to come in a lot more aggressive. Um, she didn't do that. She is just trying to make it through every vote.
Well, I think because of like the whole poker alliance thing that kind of like really hindered her in the beginning,
Yeah.
and so like now she has to downplay
Yeah.
it in that
Well,
sense.
in the preseason interviews, the two women who everyone was trying to target was Sarah and Kim, and Kim got more than even Sarah. So from the beginning, like, she was already a target, and basically after that first tribal council, she realized, oh, everyone considers me a target. I shouldn't make myself any more of a target.
I guess that's part of the reason, yeah.
Yeah.
But it depends on her late game. Could
Mhm.
she turn it around? Maybe.
It's hard at this point. I feel like we would have seen at least a little more Kim if that was going to be the case. Because, and I know you hate me bringing this up, but Karishma, she got a lot of negative content and content, but that was because there was a big story arc that you had to carry through with her.
Fair enough, yeah. But I feel, yeah, Kim's not getting a lot of other reasons. Yeah, there you are.
Yeah. Okay. Um.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I think we've covered everything we can on this recent episode of Survivor.
Much. I mean, next time on Survivor, it's just looks like more chaos. It
Yeah.
wasn't anything like defining, but like more chaos, more names.
Yeah. Yeah, and then they're gonna have a safe vote of Michelle or Nick. If that happens, we gotta be honest. Like, is it the best if they just do another safe vote? That's a tough question.
Well, some it's the how, my friend, the how.
I think that destination matters as well.
Destination.
That's why
Destination.
the best seasons have a good how and a good destination. Just saying. Right now, this has a pretty good how, terrible
They
destination.
have how, and they've had good episodes up and they've been having good episodes to this point. And like granted, like we said, sometimes a Karishma is gonna go home. Sometimes, like
And
not
I'm
big.
fine with that. I've said I'm fine with that. It's not about who's going home. It's about how they're going home.
And I feel how they're going home, you know, especially this episode with Adam, with all the craziness going on,
So
and like
if so
him.
so so in your opinion, if every vote was a safe vote, that'd be fine.
I
Because
don't
this
think
was a safe vote. Like we can't ignore the fact this was a safe vote.
it ended up being a safe vote, but the fact that it might not have been with all the chaos and everyone
But
saying
it
names.
was very obvious that this was Adam.
I feel like Adam definitely had the biggest, was the most likely choice, but just like the pandemonium up and towards it and the whole thing with the podium made it interesting enough where he went off, even if he was the easy vote, he went off in an interesting way and he went down swinging.
Yeah, and
He
that's
went,
fine. Like I like the fact that he went down swinging. Like we gotta give heart, like the fact that he has a lot of hearts. But unfortunately, in terms of Survivor gameplay, this was not progressing the game. This is just going to get us through another vote, and hopefully we can get through another vote after that. Like right now, I don't know when they're honestly going to actually start trying to take out people that could beat them. Because
I
right
think it's
now, I don't know if they want to do that until like maybe the finale. Like honestly, we might just have the the Threat Alliance just kind of be there in the finale.
we
But
gotta
like
see.
that would be boring. Like even though that I like the Threat Alliance and I like who's there, if they make it to the finale by just pagonging the non-threats,
But the fact that threats are making it to the end,
doesn't matter.
like,
I think that you said it's about the how and how they get there should matter.
yeah, I feel like the how they're getting there is a good way.
It's
Like
I don't agree.
I don't know. Well, we'll see
Yeah.
if we'll
Very
be
very different opposing views on the games of Survivor that's going on right now.
I know it's not only the winners at war,
Yeah. It's the
it's the
podcasters.
podcast each other.
Uh, okay. Well, see you guys next week. Hopefully, we get a episode that has a good how and a good end.
Hopefully, we'll both be satisfied with the next
Yes,
episode.
that is the hope. Okay, bye.
Take care, guys.